for me, I wasn't able to get to this place of enlightenment that you're at now. I'm there now, but the process was by my assigning myself to a metaphysical reality, whether it exists or not, I can't
Yeah.
say. I'm smart enough to know that. But I assigned myself to it, and it helped me overcome the barbarism that naturally resides in me. And it really does.
Mm.
You know, it's just, if there is nothing after this life, I see no value whatsoever to be kind or
Ah,
to be enlightened. I've searched but it just doesn't make sense to me at all if this life is here and now, not to be a Marxist, not to might makes right, and not to follow my will, do what thou wilt on everybody in every situation. So counter that for me with your wisdom. I want to hear how a man who doesn't really put much emphasis in metaphysics, what would you say to me?
oh, yeah. There's a way of looking at humanity rather than ourselves as individuals, of looking at all of humanity as an organism. So we ourselves, in the progress of humanity, in the development of humanity, if you like, we are threads in a tapestry. And because, you know, if I read, I don't know, Baruch Spinoza, who's a phenomenal example, I read him and I go, oh, there is such meaning here. He gave something which continues beyond him. There's an idea, I think, certainly Eric Erikson, the psychiatrist, puts it forward, that there are 5 ways to immortality. And one of them is spiritual immortality. Another is through your children. Another is through monuments. Another is through ideas. And the final one is through chemicals, which is going to happen to us all. And that idea of ideas, monuments, putting something into the culture that might make it better, that is a central idea to me. And realizing that by the time I pop my clogs, I may still be living in poverty as I am now. I may still not be regarded by anybody beyond Shawn McCraney. But I will have done my best. And again, William James, I will act as if what I did made a difference. That sense of doing something for the world.
So it almost sounds like there is a collective tapestry that you mentioned, the tapestry of life. And what you're contributing is going to someday beneficially contribute to that tapestry to keep it vibrant and alive. And you do think that your contribution is really material. It's a material contribution that materially is going to continue to contribute to the material world around us. And that is where you find your joy.
Yes. Certainly a part of it. I mean, I also find it in relationship. You know, I'm absolutely and completely and utterly in love with my wife.
So in and through those relationships and the value you bring to children and your wife and all that, that continues by there. And so this is what you're saying.
Yes, I'm a part of the collective, which is humanity. When I was about 14, I wanted to know what the truth was. It worried me that it might be something awful, but I wanted to know what the truth was. I didn't want to kid myself. I didn't want to delude myself. As I've got older and wrestled with that, the thought is, I believe that human life is a good thing, a marvelous thing, but we are not living it properly. And I believe there's a way of logically demonstrating that if we do live in the way that you used to live, then nothing, the tapestry will be burned and gone. Yeah. Whereas if we understand that with kindness as your king, you will reach heaven before you reach your end, as Dave Matthews put it, then we can actually have a much better human experience. We can create something that's much better. I believe that we should be kind, because otherwise we will be miserable.
Yeah.
There is no way that harming other people, distressing other people will lead to us being happy, unless, of course, we're tyrannical sadists.
Right. Right.
And can kill enough people to make us happy. So Genghis
That's
Khan
right.
might have been happy, but I don't think so.
So with these thoughts, then and I agree with what you've said, and absolutely agree with what you said, and I respect completely the worldview that you've been able to cultivate for yourself and how to live, and I see its value. I don't understand that way of thinking. I don't give a damn if I don't have some kind of tie-in to something bigger than me and future for me and my family and people on this earth. Fuck it. Might makes right. I don't care if it's been disproven or not. And I just don't see any reason why I wouldn't become a drug lord. A murderous Pablo Escobar drug lord to cash in on this time. I don't understand the benevolence in a mind like yours that wants to leave something behind and doesn't believe there's anything in the future. Help me.
I suppose I came to this interesting point where it's, do I believe out of desperation? Do I believe because I'm afraid? And we've talked about this before, that I have this urge towards the truth. And I think the contemporary understanding of evolution, this positive idea that we can and do evolve. We have made so much. We've the world, in the Western world, in the richer part of the Western world, is so much better than any human situation before. We don't send 4-year-old kids up chimneys or down mines anymore. We have some ethical. We've evolved ethically, I believe. We need to evolve a lot further. We need to stop fighting wars, and we need to stop supporting people who want to fight wars, because that's really not good for us. It's mayhem. But that thought of a human community, of a habitable and marvelous and beautiful planet, of the wonderful creative things people have done, and I think I just stopped worrying that I inhabit the eternal now, you might say. I don't know.
I see.
And I feel good.
John, I want to point out that my personal self that has been developed by what I believe is the Spirit of God loves a man like you, and loves the state that you've come to, and believes that you, this is my way of seeing it, that you have God in you without knowing who it is, that you acquiesce to a spirit that is good, and therefore you're fine, because we don't need religion here. Okay. But the sociopathic side of me has no understanding of this man that's talking to me. He thinks that you are stupid for thinking that you gotta love people. Because there is a self-interest reason to prey on people. Might makes right, and that is how the world should work. Who cares about happiness? None of us. We're not happy when we're loved. We're not happy when we act violently. So if we're not happy either way, I'm gonna fend for myself through violence and strength. So this is why my claim to God, or a spirit of God, or Jesus, or whatever, does help someone like me overcome those natural propensities to love someone like you. But it's my maturity in the faith to also look at you and say, you're just as right with God as I am, and to not do any judging.
Thank you.
Yeah.